Welcome to Influencers, where we bring you the people that impact our community, our city, and our state. Today, we have Secretary of State of Nevada, Barbara Cegavske. How are you, Barbara?
I'm great, Peter. Thank you so much for having me here today.
No, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. So, we always like to start off with a question that kind of throws you off a little bit. So, if you weren't sitting right here, right now, where would you like to be today?
With my grandkids at a baseball game.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to Nevada. I don't know if you're originally from Nevada.
Well, I've been here for 43 years, so I feel like a Nevadan. But I came from Minnesota. That's where I was born and raised.
And how did you get to Nevada? What was the process?
I went by way of Yuma, Arizona, worked in a regional medical center there for a while, and then came to Nevada, met my husband, and ended up staying here. He was from California, and we've both been here, had our boys here and raised them, and then now we have 6 grandkids.
Wow, amazing. Who's had the most impact on you?
I'd say my family has had the most impact. I really got involved with the schools in Nevada through my boys, being a PTA president, being involved in the school system with the trustees, going to Washington, lobbying for money for the classrooms. So I'd have to say my kids.
They've had the most impact?
Yes.
Continually?
Oh, absolutely, because you learn so much through not only their jobs, but their children as well.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to become Secretary of State.
I will, and that's really a great one for me to emphasize, because I was brought up in a family of business entrepreneurs. My father was a businessman, and we worked summers and after school in the office with him. And then my husband and I owned a convenience store, 7-Eleven, for 13 years. And then I became an assemblywoman, and so for 18 years I was in the Assembly and the Senate. And I think all of that really prepared me for the Secretary of State's position.
Wow. I didn't realize that you did that much time in the
Yes.
legislative sessions.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both being in the Assembly. You learn so much about the process. You learn about the different branches. It's an incredible education.
That's beautiful. More with our Secretary of State in a moment. Welcome back to Influencers. We're here with Secretary of State of Nevada, Barbara Cegavske. Let's talk a little bit about the office. Tell us about what the Secretary of State does that people might not even know.
Well, unfortunately and fortunately, I love coming out to talk to everybody. I think the one thing everybody knows the most about the Secretary of State is the elections. And we have 8 divisions, and I don't think everybody understands that. We do a lot with notary. We do a lot with securities, fraud. We have criminal investigators in our securities division. We are the business license. This is where you come for any business license that you want, or an LLC, a corporate filing. We do all of that. We have a full-time staff from 8 to 5 that you can call in and ask questions. We have online Silver Flume. So we're there for the community. We're there for the small business people, the large corporations. That's what we do.
Yeah, so tell us how the Secretary of State can help the small business community. How does it help the small business community?
Well, one of the programs that we've been working on, and we have in-house technicians that help us and recreate and rework everything on a regular basis for Silver Flume to improve it. You can go online and you can find out what it's going to cost you if you want to get into a business, what your local and state representatives, what they want, how much money it's going to cost you to get involved in that business. And people really like that because they want to know up front, what is it going to cost me? So what we try to do is to make sure that you, when you go on the Silver Flume, that you understand all that, and then we make it easy for you to access and put all the information in and get licensed. And then we let you understand that it's every year you have to do this, and you have to keep up on it. And so those are some of the things that I think we're really doing a good job, and we keep advancing. As you know, technology changes every day. We have to make sure we keep up with it.
You've actually brought up Silver Flume a couple times, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Silver Flume is?
Silver Flume is an online service that the Secretary of State's office provides. And what we do is we allow you to go online and look at what you want to do. What is it that you want to do to become a business, or if you are a business, you want to renew your business. And this is the perfect avenue to, you can sit at home in your pajamas and you can register and you can get all the information input in there. And if you have any questions, you can call us on the phone and we'll be more than happy to walk you through anything or help you through anything that might be a concern.
How can the small business community take more advantage of the Secretary of State's office and the tools?
Well, that's a great question. I'm really glad that you asked it, because we'll go out into the public anywhere in the state. If anybody wants us, we'll go out and we'll talk to them about what we offer, what we have. We'll come to any of the chambers, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, and talk to your members and tell them how they can effectively and usefully use our service and how we can help them.
You brought up the Latin Chamber of Commerce. You've had a good relationship with this chamber.
Yes, I'm very proud of that. I'm really proud of the work that the Latin Chamber of Commerce does for our community.
We appreciate that. We'll be back with Barbara in a moment. Let's talk about some new initiatives. Tell us what your plans. I know you're in a campaign, but if you're successful in your campaign, tell us what's coming next.
We have so many things that are on the horizon for the Secretary of State's office. And as I told you, technology changes. We have in-house technicians that keep revamping and looking at ways we can improve everything. Right now we're working on what's called the ESOS project, and that is to help us facilitate and make it less stressful for a business owner to go in and get their business license.
Wow.
And so we're going to, the forms will be less that you have to fill out, and so we're really excited about the progress of what that is going to
That's exciting, because we do hear from members that is a part of the process they're not crazy about.
But that'll be coming, and that'll be coming soon, and we'll make sure that you're aware of it, and all your members are as well. So that's exciting. We also have regulations from the last legislative session that are due, and so we have been trying to work on those as well.
That's great. I'm always curious, how involved is yourself and your office with the governor's office?
Well, I sit on several of the commissions with the governor on a regular basis, so I see him at least once a month, if not more. And our office works with his staff on several different issues. And so we're interacting all the time, and then I see him at events. So we do interact quite often.
So there's recalls going on.
Yes, there are.
I'd like to know how that has affected the Secretary of State's office.
Well, we didn't really know at the time how much time was going to be involved, but after the voter registrar is done with his part of it, he gives them over to our Las Vegas office, where we have to timestamp them, and then the first batch that we did were all scanned, and so that takes people and it takes time. So some of my deputies were working overtime because we'd get them later in the day, and then we'd also have the ones that have just come in that we've just done the time stamping and not the scanning. So it's a process, because it goes from Las Vegas to Carson City, and Carson City then has to verify signatures, and of course that's all time consuming, and we do not have a staff just to do recalls, so anything that our other staff is doing has to stop, and they have to take care of this.
I would think that you didn't have this in your budget, right? So is this taking any kind of a fiscal impact?
Yes, and we're keeping track of the hours so that we can report it to the legislative session to let them know how many hours it's taken away from what they would normally be doing.
Again, just so that the viewers understand, though, the recall effort it's a legal effort. It's part of democracy.
That's correct.
We just didn't see it coming, and it's going to have a fiscal impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the county and the state.
Oh, on the county as well?
Yes, because they had the same problem that we did, is they didn't have regular staff. They had to hire temps or people to come in and fulfill those jobs.
It's very interesting. We will be back with our last segment with Nevada's Secretary of State on influencers in a moment. Welcome back. We're here with Barbara, who is our Secretary of State of Nevada. Thank you for joining us today, too. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Barbara, tell us how the Hispanic community has benefited from the Secretary of State's office.
Oh, wow. I think even back when I was in the Senate and learned about the notaries and the issue that flagged our population here in Nevada, and the different legislation that we put forth to help that issue out, the notary issue out. So the Secretary,
that was a big deal.
It was, and so I'm really glad that I knew that information and had that, because it's helped me as the Secretary of State. So we have a notary division. And in that notary division, we've been able to work with the community and ask them, what is it that you need? What are some of the issues? And it's been a wonderful relationship back and forth, getting their input, and then us being able to write regulations or legislation that we've needed. And the legislature was wonderful in helping us with that last session as well. So I think it's really been beneficial for both of us.
Do you think the Hispanic business community can take more advantage of your office?
Oh, absolutely. I think anybody in business that needs assistance or needs to find out how we can better help them, or if we have any of our stuff on silver flume or in the office that needs updating or is difficult for somebody, we really cherish feedback. We love it, and it really benefits all of us.
So tell us about the future of the Secretary of State's office.
Well, I'm really excited because I believe, as you know, I'm going into my 4th year, and another 4 years in there with all of the ideas and the things that we've made and done in there have been so impacting on Nevada that we want to continue. As I said, we have regulations to write. We want to see those through. We have the ESOS project that we want to see come out so that business people have less paperwork to fill out than instead of more. So we go out into the community. We go to the schools. We talk to the students about becoming voters, and we love it. We bring machines. They can vote. We'll go and talk to any class, 4th, 8th, and 12th. You know, they teach Nevada history, and we really enjoy being out there in the community. So we just want everyone to know that we're available, and we'll do anything to help people understand what the Secretary of State does and what we offer.
I think that's such an important initiative, and I certainly would like the Latin Chamber to help be more involved in that. I mean, to take a voting machine to a school as a young child, that's powerful. I know it's powerful because my dad insisted that we all would go with him, and he did it intentionally to create a curiosity. So I think doing that with children, that's amazing. We need to get that out more.
Yes, we really believe in civics education and civics engagement. We think that's really important, and that's why we are involved in the schools, and it's my way of still staying involved in education because that's what I started everything with.
And your future?
This is my future, being the Secretary of State for another 4 years. That's what I'd really love to do for this state, and to working with the community in all of the areas of the state, all 17 counties.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. It's been a pleasure having this show with you. I want to thank Secretary of State Barbara Cegavske for joining me today, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Influencers, and all the viewers, I hope you've enjoyed it too. Till we see each other again. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.